Hi, I'm Ava, and today I'm going to teach you about land use and what happens when formerly maintained properties are returned back to the wild. This area was once a YMCA park that was maintained and used daily by the public, by families and Boy Scout troops for camping. As you can see, this area is surrounded by a temperate deciduous forest. And so a temperate deciduous forest is a biome that has many deciduous trees which drop their leaves, as you can see here, in the fall. And it's found in mid-latitude areas on Earth. This space here actually used to be entirely paved over. You can see some of the remnants of what's left. It was used for sports, and there were some basketball courts here. This was like a very expansive area of blacktop, but it's mostly been grown over now. You can see there's like an entire island of growth in the center. This area over there is where we were at the basketball court. And so this area here actually used to be like a playing field. And you can see that it's totally been taken over. There only used to be this big tree and that big tree, but now you've got an entire island of area that's come up. But after the park closed for some time in 2004, it hadn't been maintained since then, and so these areas started to undergo ecological succession. So ecological succession is the process by which a structure of a biological community ends up evolving over time. And the community begins with a few pioneering plants and animals. So that's kind of like what you see here. These are our pioneers, and over time it increases in complexity. So that'll be like, you know, the taller grasses and shrubbery. And then after that, it becomes stable and into its final stage of ecological succession, which is known as the climax community. So this area isn't quite there yet, but it's getting pretty close, as you can tell by the development of all of these trees. And once it reaches its climax population, it'll look just like the forests that are surrounding it. Okay, so this here is a satellite image of the park area where we were just out at, and hopefully this will help to give you kind of an idea of how the ecological succession in this area is worked. So this is while the park was still in operation. You can see over here where the cursor is that this was a beach, and then they had a pool house and bathroom area, paved parkways, and then this square down here is the paved over area where they had the basketball court. And so they had paved areas going all the way back to campsites. You can see in there's little cabins, and so we're gonna go and we're gonna see what leaving this alone after some time has done to the area. We're getting into about 1 to 2 years of it not being used. You can see grasses is starting to grow back in this area, is getting greener and greener. So at this point, this is about 2010, so around 4 to 5 years after the park closed. The beach is pretty much entirely grassed over. The grass is looking a lot thicker, and so this would be those like initial regrowth areas. So then as we keep going, we get to about 2011. You can see it's kind of hard to tell, but they took down the buildings. And there we go. You can see there, they've been removed and everything's kind of growing back in. It's a little harder to tell because this image was taken in the fall. So as you can see, there's a lot of regrowth happening. You can see if we zoom in a little bit here, the pavement is starting to have growth on it. This area here is completely grown over now. At one point it was paved over. This entire area here at one point was pavement, and as you can see now, it's mostly greenery. So this was a fully paved blacktop driveway, and it was actually about double as wide as you see here. And as you can see, it started to grow over. This was the field that was used for playing at one point. Definitely not anymore.